We're not moving as much as we used to, and it shows. But there is something that might reverse the damage of our sedentary lifestyles. It's called mobility training, and it's helping thousands of people live without pain, reduce the likelihood of injury, and reclaim the body's full range of motion. I wanted to try mobility training for myself to find out if it really works, and to see how much progress I could make if I did it every day for 30 days. This video is sponsored by Squarespace, more on them later. So my starting point of mobility feels pretty decent. I can do this, this, and this. These are just some of the ways that able-bodied people can test their mobility. But even with these remarkable accomplishments, I've found that as I've gotten older, I'm feeling more aches and pains. And I've even stacked up a couple injuries at the gym that have left me feeling concerned. The algorithm must have been listening. I think I first learned about your work through a viral video of you doing Olympic-style lifts for everyday tasks. What were you trying to say with that video?
Yeah, that's a great question. One day I was on social media and I was on my news feed and I saw a bunch of fitness accounts that would like X mark, check mark certain movement patterns in the fitness industry. Like, don't squat like this, squat like this, and you get like a check mark. You know, we should be educating people on how to train various positions and ranges of motion as opposed to like saying this range is completely bad for you, it's dangerous, avoid it, when that range is actually really specific to your daily life and in sports.
Amir Zadinejad, who's also known as Beard, I'll let you guess why, is a mobility coach that's helped thousands of people improve their movement.
Mobility training, at least in the form that we do it through the functional range systems, it's really about joint-specific strength training. Conventional strength training, it's primarily about strengthening muscles and movement patterns, and the muscles are typically being trained at mid-ranges of motion, whereas in mobility, it's more about those end ranges, the joints and the connective tissue. So these are areas where we often run into pain, dysfunction, limitations, imbalances. So we can really develop a more well-rounded and resilient body if we strengthen our areas of weakness.
After my call with Amir, he agreed to put together an entire program for me to get me through the next 30 days. The program is targeting some specific pain points I've had in the past, like my knees and ankles, but also hitting areas like my hips, shoulders, and spine. Today is day 1 of mobility training. I'm very excited to get into it, although I have no idea what to expect. One of the first things I learned about was something called CARs. It stands for Controlled Articular Rotations. CARs involve actively moving a joint through its full range of motion while maintaining strict control and awareness of the movement itself, isolating the rotation of your neck, shoulders, hips, elbows, wrists, knees, ankles, and even your toes in a way that pushes you through your full range of motion. A range of motion that's often neglected in our day-to-day sedentary activities. This is the baseline of a lot of mobility programs, and it's meant to help increase blood flow, flexibility, and overall movement. That was much different than I thought it would be. I think my expectation was that it was going to be more stretching. Clearly, I have a lot of work to do. Each day, I began adding a full-body CARS warm-up to my morning routine. I habit stacked it with a coffee and a podcast to work through each joint over the course of about 15 minutes. The immediate impact of this routine was clear. It started to give me greater awareness over the areas of weakness in my body. I noticed the imbalance of flexibility between my left and right shoulder, as well as my ankles. And it also gave me an effective way to loosen up my body during those days when I spent hours in front of a computer. But as I learned, this was just one small part of mobility training. As I dug into one class after another, I realized there was a lot more to it. Okay, I'm gonna jump into a 50-minute mobility class now, but I'm gonna condense it down to 1 minute for you guys. Most classes target just one specific joint, and today I'm gonna be working out my knees. It begins with a CARS warm-up. Here I'm rotating my knee joint through its full range of motion. I'm creating tension and doing my best to isolate just my knee. With this one, it's actually really easy to overcompensate and use your ankle, so you really need to try to focus on that knee joint. Next up is a passive stretch. Grabbing some books, I'll rotate my knee and place a few books under my foot to hold the stretch in place. After holding this position for a bit, it's on to pails and rails, one of the keys to strengthening your joints. So for my pails rotation, I'm gonna be driving the force of my foot into these books here, rotating at the knee. It doesn't look like much, but it's a surprisingly strenuous workout. For rails, you initiate force in the opposing direction. Each of these sets is finished off with something called liftoffs. Similar to pails and rails, it's another way to strengthen the joint. After a few more of these exercises, strengthening each direction of our knee rotation, we finish off with more cars rotations, now with just a little bit more range of motion than we had at the start of the class.
I'm gonna be honest, when I did the routine yesterday, I thought there was no way I could possibly feel soreness from it. But lo and behold, today, I'm in a little bit of pain. It's not the worst soreness in the world, but it's definitely an indication that I haven't actually worked out those muscles in a long time, if ever.
One thing that I've been working on a lot lately is strengthening the connective tissue with my audience by updating my website. Okay, that pun was a bit of a stretch. My sponsor for this video is Squarespace. I've been using them for over a decade to build and launch my own websites for three main reasons. They've got great templates, they handle all the technical back-end stuff that I'm too dumb to figure out, and their platform makes it so easy to publish new content. I can change my bio like this, I can add a newsletter sign-up form like this, and I can swap a photo like this. And just to be clear, this photo is not edited by AI. Totally did it myself. And that's just the basics. With Squarespace, you can also buy your domain, build an online store, and set up a custom email address for your business. Visit squarespace.com today for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/MattDiavella to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Remember, when you click the link in the description down below this video, that helps to support my channel. So thanks for considering. My legs are killing me. My favorite advice I've gotten so far about mobility training is that it's better to be honest than impressive. Regardless of what new activity we're getting into, we often have a tendency to think that we're amazing right from the start. We try to impress others into thinking that we're naturally gifted, but that usually leads to overcompensation. Taking a look back at day one, you can see it clearly. My neck moves to the side as I rotate my shoulders, and my spine bends as I rotate my hips. So I reminded myself over and over again, it's better to be honest than impressive. I continued on taking these classes, targeting everything from my spine and my hips to my shoulders and neck. And as each week passed, I progressively added more tension. I started out with around 30% effort and then eventually moved up to 90%.
Whether you're a weightlifter, you're a rock climber, you do BJJ, you're a dancer, you're a yogi, whatever physical activity you do, having greater joint function through proper mobility training carries over to that, like no other form of training that I've seen, because when you have stronger joints and connective tissue, that just means you're a stronger human being.
While the improvement in my CARS routine isn't huge from day 1 to day 30, my range of motion has increased a little, and I'm doing a much better job at isolating each movement. Of course, this isn't an insane transformation, but it's realistic, and it's a step in the right direction to moving and feeling better every day. If you want to learn more about mobility training and try it for yourself, I've left a few links to free resources in the description below. And if you like this video, then please subscribe.